Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Well, it's 2023. All the animated movies of 2022 are gone, so you know what it's time for? It's time for me to rank and review all of them. I've seen as many animated movies as I can. There's 12 on this list, so without wasting time, let's get into it. Coming in at number 12, we have Ice Age 6, The Adventures of Buck Wild, or as I like to call it, Ice Age Bored, The Adventures of Buck Mild, because this movie is bad. It is real bad. I don't know what to say about this movie that I did not say in my review. The animation is horrible, the textures are horrible, I hate the colors, I hate the lighting, I hate the characters. Why did we need a movie focused on Crash and Eddie? This feels like a fanfic that someone wrote based off Ice Age 3, and the studio just said, yeah, we don't care, animate it, give it a script, everything. I don't understand how this movie came to exist. It's bad, it should never have existed. This is just corporate greed in its finest. I wish I could talk about this movie more, but we have other movies to cover. Let me just say, this movie sucks. It's very clear it's a fanfic. It even ignores Ice Age 4 and 5. You don't even need to call this Ice Age 6, just call it Ice Age 3.5, and it would still have the same effect. It's boring, it doesn't fit into the Ice Age universe well. Just pretend it doesn't exist, pretend it doesn't fit into that canon, and your life will be a lot better for it. 1 out of 10. At number 11, we have Pinocchio, A True Story. This movie is also a 1 out of 10, but the only reason it's above Ice Age is because it's actually kind of funny. The memes we get from this movie are just hilarious. Father, when can I live to be on my own? Skiddy, skiddy, skiddy. If it did not have that, this movie would also be at the very bottom. The animation is horrible with this movie. I've already nitpicked it to death in my review. The characters I've mentioned are already infuriating. The only saving grace this movie has is that it's so bad, it's funny. And I would advise that if you are going to watch this train wreck for whatever godforsaken reason, watch the American dub. The British dub that I watched was very boring. The American dub, you'll have a hell of a time with it. So yeah, 1 out of 10. Now that we've left the very bad movies behind, let's talk about the mediocre bad movies. Starting at number 10 with Hotel Transylvania 4, Transformania. Yeah, I'm gonna say the best part of this movie is Brian Hull. I do love the fact that YouTubers are now becoming more main industry, or they're starting to be accepted by the main industries when it comes to Hollywood. We've had the TV show Oddballs by One's Out, Has Been Hotel by Vivzy Pop, and even voice actors, again, like Brian Hull, who is voicing Dracula in this movie. I do like the fact that YouTubers are getting noticed for their talent. Otherwise, no, this movie sucks. I really hate it. And you know this movie is bad when even the main creators behind it aren't joining in. Adam Sandler didn't return for this movie. Even Gendy Tartakovsky didn't return for this movie. He didn't direct or write it. He just came up with the story. Everyone was completely finished with this movie. And even the concept for this movie feels so old. It feels like they should have done this like 2 movies ago, but for some reason it stuck around. Everyone's finished with this franchise, and I'm glad it's the last Hotel Transylvania movie. Hopefully Sony keeps their word for this. Sony, don't relapse like this again. Make good movies from now on. Once Across the Spider-Verse comes out, it's a straight train for you. Just keep making banger after banger. But this is definitely the weakest of the Transylvania movies. Even I can see that. 4 out of 10. At number 9, we have Strange World. This is a huge disappointment, especially from Disney. You'd have thought that after all their time putting their craft, they would have made a good movie, but this isn't it, guys. This isn't it, chief. Especially after like the success they had with Encanto last year. I was actually excited for this movie. Come to find out, this movie did not do well. The writing isn't great. For some reason, the character designs all feel like they're from completely different movies. No character ever feels like they're from the same universe. They all look completely different, even when they're family, when they're supposed to be related. It's very weird. And the Strange World itself, while cool, there's definitely some good animation here. I do like some of the shots they use and some of the creatures. In the second half of the movie, it just kind of gets really boring. Like in the second half of the movie, they only really use 2 designs. They reuse the same 2 designs for creatures for the rest of the movie, and it just gets frustrating. Like, did budget run out halfway through the film? What happened? It also doesn't help that this movie did not get any promotion whatsoever. It got like 2 trailers, and that was it. So many people did not even know this movie existed. And given the complicated history behind it, it does make you think that Disney probably had a hand in it, like they were self-sabotaging themselves, which for a Disney animation movie, for them to sabotage themselves like this is bad. Then again, this is like their 61st movie, and it's not even their 100th, it's like their 99th year of releasing movies, so of course this one wasn't special to them. So I guess maybe this year they'll actually, put a bit more heart and soul into it. But as far as it goes, this ain't it, chief. Strange World, to me, is not a bad movie, it's just very average and very paint by numbers. I've definitely seen this movie before. Disney do better. 5 out of 10. Coming in at number 8, we have DC League of Super Pets. This movie is fine. I think it's a pretty fun movie. I do think I might like it a bit more than I should, mostly because I'm a pet lover and I really love the concept of pets with superpowers. But otherwise, it's fine. The animation is definitely the biggest thing that draws me away from this movie. I don't know what it is about the character designs, but they do not mesh in with the world, especially when it comes to like Superman and Crypto and a couple other Justice League members. They just do not look natural in this movie. It looks like unfinished animation. The rest of it is fine. I did find the humor enjoyable, especially very funny in some parts. Like there's a scene where like there's this turtle is just constantly cursing. That was funny. And I very much enjoyed the villain with her quote unquote romance with Lex Luthor. It was definitely very funny, albeit a bit weird at times. And while it is cool to see Kevin Hart and Dwayne The Rock Johnson bounce off each other, I don't know, the energy here just doesn't feel as natural or as charismatic as they do in other movies. I don't know if it's because they're both in an animated movie together and they just work better in live action or what else, or maybe the script just wasn't that fun. But while it was cool seeing them, you know it wasn't their best performance. Still, a fun movie, and if you do love pets, I encourage you to go watch it. 7 out of 10. Coming in at number 7, we have Minions 2: The Rise of Gru. This movie is peak Illumination. You could tell they definitely got all the people who just made Illumination into this movie. That's the best way I can describe it. If you want to know what the identity for this studio is, this is the one to go to. I will say though that this movie definitely has a certain charm to it. This movie emanates a sort of energy you just can't help but enjoy along with it. I definitely do think this is where Illumination shines. When they make movies purely for entertainment, then they really rock. They clearly can't do deep movies, so they might as well make movies that will make you laugh or just keep you glued to the screen. And I think that's the best thing they can do at the end of the day. I also like how this movie does not reference the first Minions movie at all, even sort of retconning the first Minions movie ending. And with that, it just has fun. The movie definitely has a lot of fun to it, and it's definitely meant for kids with all of its butt and poop and fart humor, which is not in your face as much as the other movies, so I'm fine with it. However, it is still an Illumination movie, meaning that it still has almost no substance to it whatsoever. And I don't know about you, but I kind of like my movies to have a bit of meat or a bit of something to go along with it to make you feel like you had a nice meal at the end of the day. So 7 out of 10. At number 6, we have Turning Red. I still stand by it. The first act is very hard to get through. Those first 20 minutes, I don't want to rethink about those again in my life. However, the rest of the movie is really good. The second act is pure fun, and the third act is pure Pixar. I really do like this concept for Pixar. This feels like a concept that was already made for them, dealing with like family trauma and puberty and all the complicated emotions that come with it. I really do feel like they were made for this. The problem is, I still think Encanto did it better. Sue me! Fight me, let's go. So yeah, I do think this is a very nice movie for Pixar to do. I really do think they handled it well, especially that final act. It was just pure brilliance, pure beauty. However, I do feel like if they did it before Encanto, I would maybe like it more, maybe not. But I still think it's a fun movie that you should definitely go see. 7 out of 10. With, of course, beautiful animation. Coming in at number 5, we have Lightyear. Yep, we're doing back-to-back Pixar movies. This movie also has spectacular animation. I don't know why people are getting mad that Pixar is going more and more into like realistic 3D animation, but Pixar, don't listen to them. They're just haters. Don't listen to them. All of you shut up. This movie looks great. I also did not mind the twist villain at the end being Zurg. I know, it's a hot take for me to say, but Zurg being the villain but future Buzz being the villain didn't really bother me as much. It kind of made sense. I knew it would take forever for them to explain how he's Buzz's father, so I kind of like that they just made him future Buzz and that he got corrupted along the way. Well, I do agree that his motivation for becoming evil was shallow. I don't think they wanted him to be fully evil. He's just very much misguided. And I also did like the first act. This movie had a very strong opening with a very strong finish. The fall back down to the planet was really good. However, there are things about this movie I did not like. The entire second act was just bad. The beginning of the third act was horrible, and I hated the battle on Zurg's ship. Remember how I said I like the fight down fall to the planet? That was cool. The fight on the ship though, I did not care for that. I did not care for the pen guy and the old lady. They were annoying, but Alicia and Socks were the best parts of this movie, and I definitely think we should cherish them, protect those two. They were the actual gems in this movie. Overall, I found this movie to be fine. It didn't meet the expectations I thought it was gonna meet, and it wasn't as cool as I expected it to be, but at the end of the day, it's like fine, it's whatever. I do think it's in the same boat as Turning Red though, where like 2/3 of this movie are actual good quality, and then the extra third is like, what the hell am I even watching? So yeah, so anyway, Lightyear, 7 out of 10. It's fine for what it is. Coming in at number 3, we have Netflix's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Now, I am gonna do a full review of this movie. I mean, it's the third Pinocchio film to come out in 2022, and I kind of made a promise to you guys. So I am gonna review this movie beginning to end. However, let me just give my quick overviews of this movie. This movie is an instant classic, and I do feel like over time it will rise higher on my list because I may have a bit of a bias for the number 1 and 2 spots. Before this movie starts, it's gonna be a classic. I can see it happening already. I love the animation in this movie. I love the message it's tackling about life and mortality and death. I love the characters. They all feel reasonable, understandable, like grounded real life characters, even Pinocchio himself. And I honestly like the way this movie, I honestly like the angle this movie is taking. Because for those of you who don't know, the original Pinocchio book was written in the 1800s and it takes place in 1800s Italy. However, this movie decided to take place in fascist Italy during the 1920s and 30s, during World War I and II. And it wanted to look at how people lived in that time and what it meant to be a quote-unquote good boy during that time. And I really like the way it's going. And it was also the ending to this movie. The ending to this movie was something I originally hated when I first saw it. However, upon reflecting on that ending and thinking about everything the movie built up to on that ending, I really love it. It's not like Disney's Pinocchio where they were trying to shove some message down your throat. They really were building up to that ending, and they wanted you to think about that ending and let the audiences interpret it for themselves. So I'm kind of happy with how it ended. The animation in this movie is also just out of this world. Again, I'm going to talk more about it in my review, but there's so many little details here and there that are just so beautiful and something I really don't think you would capture with CG or 2D or even stylized to an extent. So yeah, this movie is beautiful, it's impactful, and I definitely do see it becoming a classic for years to come. At number 2, we have Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Now, I did see this after Pinocchio. Obviously it did come out afterward. But it does mean I might have some biasness towards it. But I just can't shake it off. I love this movie, guys. I love it so much. I love the themes it's tackling. I love, again, how it's also talking about life, death, and mortality and how you should appreciate life. Why do we have so many movies talking about that this year? Or at the very least, why are these 2 best movies of the year so far talking about it? 2022 was a depressing year, wasn't it? But yeah, this movie is amazing. I love the stylized look it's going for, clearly copying Spider-Verse, as if everyone hasn't said that already. I love the wolf. But when I went to see this movie, I didn't believe everyone was talking about the wolf, like what they were saying he's hype. But then watch the movie, yeah, he's hype. I love him so much. I love the little pieces he leaves behind, the little clues that kind of allude to his true nature that obviously get revealed to the audience once the ending comes. It's beautiful. The storytelling in this movie is fantastic. Every single character in this movie gets a chance to shine, and really, you just feel for all of them. I don't think there's a single forgettable character in this movie, and they're able to balance all of their arcs really well. And of course, don't even get me started on those fight scenes. Oh boy, those fight scenes. Especially the final fight scene with Puss and the Wolf. Like, I want to see that on replay forever. It's beautiful. Go watch this movie if you haven't already. I know it sounds weird that I'm saying Puss in Boots 2 of all things is a masterpiece, but trust me when I say it is. 9 out of 10. However, again, there are people who are saying that they want to see more from the Shrek universe after this movie. I feel like this movie really was lightning in the bottle because it took so much time and energy, caring for it. So if they wanted to restart the Shrek franchise in this style, I don't know how well they can keep it up for. But for this movie on its own, it's beautiful. 9 out of 10. And the best animated movie of 2022 is The Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I feel like I can't say more about this movie than I said with my review, so I'm just going to cut to the chase here. When I first heard of this movie, I had very low expectations going into it. So imagine my surprise when I was just completely blown away by it. Like, all my expectations just out the window like that. It was amazing. I love the 2D aspect of this movie and how 2D is slowly becoming like a major form of movie and storytelling again. Of course, 3D and stylized will always be my boys, but 2D, oof, breath of fresh air right here. And of course, I said the action in Puss in Boots was amazing and great and beautiful, and it is, but this movie just nails it down to a T. It is so fluid, so colorful, so expressive, and just so exaggerated in all the right ways. The storytelling is amazing, all the characters are great. Of course, being a bigger budgeted movie on Netflix, I love how it gets a bit more darker. There's a spurt of blood here, a curse or two there. This movie just really hypes everything up to 11. Seriously, why this much effort for a TMNT movie of all things? This is hands down the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie ever. It's not even a contest or anything. If we're talking about the best version of the Turtles, yes, that's up for debate. But if we're talking about movie, no contest. This movie wins hands down. I can't even complain about it. There's no nitpick I can pick from this movie and the other ones so far. So yeah, so far this movie still has a 10 out of 10 in my books. It's amazing, it's perfect, it's brilliant. Go watch this movie if you haven't already. I feel like it's being done dirty because not enough people have seen it. And yeah, those were all the animated movies that I had seen in 2022. Comment down below what was your favorite and least favorite, or give me your whole list as to what you saw this year, this last year, and why you liked them. And now that that's been said and done, 2023 is here. The floodgates have been opened, and I'm ready to see what we got. We seem to have some heavy hitters this year in forms of like the Mario movie, Across the Spider-Verse, Elemental. So I'm definitely interested to see what these studios have for us, and it does seem like it's going to be a hype year for animation. I hope I'm not wrong when it comes to that. But anyways, guys, that's going to be all from me. Thank you so very much for watching. Be sure to like if you like. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell to be part of the team. Slap a cow. And without further ado, guys, I have been Captain Phoenix. And with that, I will see you in another universe. Goodbye, my Rangers.